talk about applications. Okay. And if you ever want me to come back and talk about the 12 principles, then I'm happy to give a student lecture on the 12 principles. Okay. So I'll just quickly go on to this slide, this side of the lecture. So I'm just going to stop sharing, and then I will reshare in 1 second. Okay, so let's just take you through some applications. And again, these are not going to be hard chemistry applications. Often what researchers do, they love to talk about their chemistry, okay, and lots of equations and lots of structures. And we just need to be mindful that to get students to learn about green chemistry, we've got to picture it in a way that they understand, again, the overview. Okay? If they understand the overview, then they'll actually enjoy the chemistry much, much better. And that's always been my philosophy. And when Dr. Suleiman did his PhD, it was that same philosophy. Understand the philosophy first, then go and learn the chemistry, rather than just diving into the chemistry first, and then you're just going in, you might be going in the wrong direction, or you don't have that motivation. So I'm just going to give some slides about some of the work that we've done with some of my PhD students, including Dr. Suleiman. So food waste, there's a global problem of food waste, and food waste is not the same. It depends where you are in the world when we talk about food waste. Yeah? So in the West, okay, this is the food waste problem that we have. Okay? There's no shortage of food. Okay? We have an oversupply of food, and this picture here is of tomatoes. These are red tomatoes, and this is where we have grown too many tomatoes. The supermarkets don't want those tomatoes. So these tomatoes are either now out of date, which is ridiculous, okay? Because we know that, you know, we can always do something even with out of date tomatoes. We know that, okay? But here in the West, if it's out of date, they don't want to eat it, okay? Or if it looks funny, if the shape is wrong, okay, they'll throw it away. If it's not the perfect tomato, they don't want it. If it's not the perfect apple, they don't want it. If it's not the perfect banana, they don't want it. Okay? This picture here at the bottom, okay, this is the food waste problem in India. Okay? So it's not that they have a lack of food. Okay? India grows a lot of food. This is wheat. This is the wheat harvest. They don't know how to store it after harvesting. So this has been stored with polythene sacks, this polythene lining. Okay, there's been a rainstorm. It's been very windy. Okay, and all of these polythene lining and sacks has blown away and cracked. So all of this harvest has gone to waste. Okay, so it depends where you are in the world when we talk about food waste, and the problems are quite different. So what is the big picture? Okay, well, the big picture is every year we generate 1.3 billion tons of food waste. Yeah. And that's quite shocking because close to 1 billion people across the planet are severely malnourished. Yeah. That wastage of 1.3 billion tons of food equates to about 4 gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalents that's emitted. Okay. There's a consequence of growing that food that goes to waste. Okay. One of the consequences is CO2. The other consequence is water. To grow food, we need water. Okay. So approximately 250 cubic kilometers is wasted just in the growing of this food, which is then wasted. Okay. And there's also a land footprint. Okay. To grow food, we need land. So 1.4 billion hectares of land is occupied in growing waste, which utilizes 250 cubic kilometers of water, which generates 4 gigatons of CO2, which generates 1.3 billion tons of food waste. That is a problem. That is a linear economy. That's one direction, cradle to grave. If we look at that CO2 slightly differently, okay, if food waste, was a mythical country, it would be the third largest emitter of CO2. Okay, China is 1, US is 2. Food waste at this 4.4 gigatons is the third largest. Okay. Indonesia, actually, not just for food waste, okay, Indonesia is the 8th largest emitter of CO2. So again, you know your problems within Indonesia. Okay. I was quite surprised to learn that statistic, that Indonesia is the 8th largest emitter of CO2. Whereas the UK